What's up everybody, Chris here from Bold Canyon Outdoors, and today we're going to be installing some RuggedWerks bed stiffeners on a 2017 Tacoma. Now I'm going to show you what they are and why you need them. So let's take a look at the Tundra back over here and the Tacoma behind me, and we'll show you what we're working with. All right, I've got the BCO Adventure Tundra right here, and I've got Daisy's 2017 Tacoma. The reason why I said let's look at the Tundra is I want to show you the differences between the two beds. Now, the Toyota Tundra has an all-steel bed on the inside. It's a little bit heavier, but of course, it's got a bit more power. It's a little bit bigger truck, but this is all steel. Now, the Tacoma, on the other hand, uses a composite bed. So when you're mounting a bed rack and a rooftop tent, and a bunch of weight on top of it, the composite bed isn't going to be as stiff for holding these bed sides in place. And the last thing you want is to have flex back and forth when you put extra weight on it. So RuggedWerks came up with a great solution. Their bed stiffeners, which go against the floor in the bed, will actually reduce flex and ultimately reduce any damage that can be caused from that flex. So let's go ahead and we'll get these installed. So the tools you're going to need, so you're going to need a 10mm socket, a 14mm socket, a 14mm wrench, and then a couple of TORX bits. We've got a T55, which is for this big one here, and then a T40 for the tie down here. So first off, we're going to remove the tail light, which just has a couple of 10mm holding it on. So you're going to take off this bolt here, which is the second one down, and the one on the very bottom. Both of them are 10mm. Once you've got these two bolts out, the tail light is loose. It's held in by a couple of press-in grommets on the inside, so put your finger on the top and just give it a pull. Next up, we're going to remove these two TORX bolts. We'll start with the T55 right here. Then the T40 on the little tie down. Now when you pull the tie down out, you'll see it's got a lock washer and several spacers. This has also got a little capture washer on the bottom. It's plastic, and we're actually going to need to cut that off to reuse all the spacers and lock washers when we mount it on the RuggedWerks bed stiffener. But we'll cover that in a minute. For the next step, we're going to need to put the bed stiffener in its place and mark the 3 holes that need to be drilled in the bedside to mount it. If you noticed, I marked the 3 small holes, but not this big hole. This one is actually here just in case you want to add any electrical accessories or anything to your truck at a later time. It does come with a couple of these rubber grommets with the kit, so you can mount them in there when you want to run an accessory wire. Now I can remove this, and we'll drill the 3 holes. Once the holes are drilled, put a little touch-up paint inside each of the holes to keep any corrosion from happening. With the 3 holes drilled and touch-up paint on the raw metal, we're ready to go ahead and get this fastened on. Remember when I said we have this little plastic capture nut on here? Now it's time to cut it off. That way you can take off the small flat washer, the lock washer, and the spacer, and put them right down in this hole where they belong. And now we can set the bed stiffener in place and start attaching the hardware. First, put the tie down bolt in and give it a couple of spins so it can still move a little bit, and then we'll put in the 3 bolts on the side here so it snugs up against the bed side. The supplied hardware comes with locking nuts on it, making it very simple and it won't ever come undone. Once you've got these 3 bolts on the side drawn in nice and tight, we'll tighten up the 2 Torxes and we are good to go. Once the bed stiffener is securely fastened, we can reinstall the tail light, press it into the 2 pressing grommets here, and replace the 2 10mm bolts. With this side finished, we're going to repeat the same steps on the other side and we'll be done. And here is the finished product. So we've got the RuggedWerks bed stiffeners all installed. Tail lights are back in, everything's torqued down. And some of the cool little touches that RuggedWerks puts on their bed stiffeners, you have additional tie downs here, plus you have mounts for a whip or an antenna up on top, tie downs along the bottom, so they're good and stiff, good and rigid, protecting the bedside from flex and damage, and they have a lot of different uses. So even with the added weight of the bed rack and the rooftop tent, the bed of the 2017 Tacoma is going to be nice and stiff, and it's not going to flex, and we're not going to have any damage done for the long term. All right, guys, there you have it. That's the full install of the RuggedWerks bed stiffeners on a 2017 Tacoma. Now check the links below because I'm going to put some links to RuggedWerks and to where you can check out more of Daisy's Tacoma. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely leave them. And do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you'll be the first one notified every time we go on a cool run, have a new install, some cool products. All kinds of neat things are coming out from Bold Canyon Outdoors. So from the desert just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, for Bold Canyon Outdoors and RuggedWerks, this is Chris signing off. Happy trails, everybody.